A camera component can be added and used fairly easily if you use the following steps. Go to Components and pick the camera. Just drag it over onto your screen. Wait, before you do though, let's look down here and you'll see there is no camera here. So now we're going to drag the component over and we will add the camera up here along with its controls, and right here we will now have a camera line. This is the key to this whole thing. All you have to do to add the camera is click on this. Let me first show you what we're going to do. We're going to come up here, we're going to have a full screen, and then we're going to zoom in on the 1, move up to the 2, we'll move down to the 4, and then we'll zoom back out. So to do that is very simple. We'll do it on a 1-second timeline. So we come to the camera line. All we have to do is find our camera icon and move over to where we want the camera to start. We're going to start it at about 1 second. And I want it to take about 1 second, so I'll go from 1 to 2 to zoom in on the 1. Then we'll go out to 3, about 3 seconds. I'm not going to be precise here. And we'll do the same thing. Set a camera, and this time we're going to move it from the focus on 1 to the focus on 2. Then we'll go out to about 3 seconds, or let's see, about 5 seconds I guess here. And this one we are going to move from the 2 down to the 4. Then for our last move, we will move from 7. You can move these any way you want once you have them set up, to 8. So we have all our cameras set up where we want them to move. So we'll come back and move our cursor time pointer down over to where we want things to start. Now we will pick camera 1. Camera 1 is going to start where the cursor is at this point in time. This is where the sequence will begin with a full screen. Now we move our timeline to the other side of camera 1 and we set the focus down to where we want the focus to be at the end of it, which will be here. Now if we move the timeline, we will see that it works the way we want it to. So we will unfocus camera 1. Now we will focus on camera 2. Camera 2 is going to start where 1 left off. Now in this case we haven't set it yet, so it's going back to full screen. So all we have to do is position it where we want it to be in position 2, which will be right here. Now if we come back, it'll go from 1 to 2. Now this is camera 3. It's going to start at 2 and it's going to go back to full focus. We don't want it to be full focus. We want it to be focused on 3, so we just have to change the camera and focus it on 3. Now if we come back, we go from 2 to 3. Now the last camera is going to go from 3 to full focus, to full screen, which is actually what we want, so we don't have to change anything. So now all we have to do is return to the home, press play, and we zoom on 1, move to 2, move to 3, and go back to full screen. It's that simple. The secret again is like animations, is not clicking on this first part. It's setting before you get there. Note that whenever you end a sequence, your screen is going to stay focused on the point that your last camera was on. So in this case, we were focused on 3. So from that point on, your camera will be focused at 3. If we want to focus, let's say, on full screen, we have to add in one more camera, regardless of how small that camera is, to change the focus back to full screen. So if we double click here, we add this camera in, make sure the time pointer's on the other side of it. This camera we can expand, use the expand button to expand to the full size. Now we will see that with 3 here, and we're back to full screen here. So if we just move this down to the very smallest we can get it, then we can move it over, and that is about as good as we can do. So if we hit play, we'll end up at full screen. As I said, the thing to remember is between all these spaces where they will be focused however the last camera was focused. And the last camera will always be set to the point, the first of the last camera will always be set to the point of the camera before it, the focus of the camera before it. This works almost identical as to the way animations work.